Everybody can hear me okay? Drop me one in the chat and we will get rocking. Trying to make sure I get us streaming. All right. All right. Cool deal. All right. So let's get moving. Got a lot to catch up on from the weekend. Um, Tariffs are still a thing. Some things happening across the pond with Israel and Hamas. We got talks happening with Putin. And we got a Bank of Japan rate statement today. So let's uh let's dive in. Um, All right. European stocks rise. German debt reform is eyed. Major boroughs in Europe advanced for a third consecutive session on Tuesday as the stocks 50, stocks 600 both gaining 0.3%, and the DAX adding 0.8% as traders are closely monitoring a critical vote in Germany. The vote seeks to amend the country's debt brake to allow for greater fiscal flexibility, enabling increased spending on national defense and infrastructure. We talked about this previously, and we're going to see more defense spending in other countries as things continue to get interesting here in the United States. If you follow Ray Dalio, if you read his book, um, or if you watch the 45-minute YouTube breakdown on the changing world order, uh, he talks about the major cycles, major financial cycles, the smaller financial cycles, and the cycles uh, of dynasties, the rise and fall of dynasties, and um, we're in the Civil War phase of the cycle. And in this cycle, you start to see more defense spending. You start to see a separation of sides, and you start to see more internal conflict, here in the United States. But then you start to see that rise spread to other countries. So that's the phase that we're in currently. If you follow the things that he talks about. But we're going to see more defense spending from other countries um, as they ramp up and this tension continues to build. But that's what's happening in Germany. And we have Brent crude on the rise. Oil futures rose to around 71.7 per barrel on Tuesday, marking its third straight session of gains amid concerns over supply disruptions caused by ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Israel launched a large-scale attack on the Gaza Strip earlier today, its first major strike since the ceasefire took effect in January. Additionally, Donald Trump on Monday threatened to hold Iran responsible for any attacks by Yemen's Houthi, um, intensifying his pressure campaign against Tehran. Also supporting prices were expectations of a revival in demand from top oil importer China following its stimulus plans and strong economic data. However, the gains are capped by a prospect that progress on the Russia-Ukraine peace talks could lead to increased supply. Um, Putin is amping people up, suppliers um, in the North Pole area in the event that things happen the way that he would like them to, when it comes to these talks. But he has some requests for that as well. So we'll see how that goes. Trump is set to speak with Putin later on today about ending the war. Other key downside risks for oil was the escalating trade tensions, which have raised concerns about economic growth and energy demand. All right, so that's where we are with Brent crude. We've been watching that one in the 80-20 zone, and it's starting to make its move out conveniently with these talks. Uh, Good morning, Deb. Mhm. So that's where we are with oil. Then we got gold. Gold rose above 3,020 on Tuesday, hitting a new record high as tariff uncertainty and Middle East tensions boost safe haven demand. Tariffs imposed by Donald Trump and the retaliatory measures from affected countries have raised fears about economic slowdown. Adding to market unease, Israel launched a wave of airstrikes against Gaza earlier today, with nearly 2-month-old ceasefire with Hamas appearing to be quickly falling apart. Donald Trump on Monday warned that it'll hold Iran responsible as they've been targeting U.S. and foreign vessels in the Red Sea. Market participants are now turning their attention to the Federal Reserve policy meeting, with the Fed expected to keep rates unchanged. Investors will focus on the central bank's update on economic projections and Chairman Powell's press conference for signals on future policy decisions. All right. So that's where investors are looking right now. So you'll see if any central bank speakers come to the microphone to talk, any of that, right? You'll see attention being paid to those conversations ahead of that rate statement. Then you have sterling. British pound crossed the $1.30 mark on Tuesday, the highest in over 4 months, driven by expectations that UK interest rates will stay higher for longer. The Bank of England is set to hold rates up 4.5% this week, with traders pricing in a slower pace of rate cuts compared to the Federal Reserve. Markets expect the BOE to lower rates by just 51 basis points by the year end, while the Fed is seeing cutting rates by 60 basis points. Additionally, dollar weakened due to concerns over economic growth and trade uncertainty. Despite last week's data showing a surprise contraction in the UK economy, hopes remain that planned infrastructure investments will support the growth, right? Meanwhile, the UK reaffirmed its commitment to U.S. trade, signaling cautious approach to the U.S. tariff moves. All right. So even though they had a contraction, there's still positive sentiment coming out of the UK because of the things that are planned. All right. So that's the UK. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, that's where we are. Let's head over to the factory. So we had Chinese data come out on Sunday, right? Industrial production year on year was above expectation. Retail sales were above expectation. Fixed asset investment was above expectation, right? So that's the positive news coming out of China. It still had an unemployment rate that rose, um, was above expectation, but overall the data was positive coming out of China. Okay, so that's what folks are looking at from that perspective. Okay, on Monday you had retail sales in the United States come in below expectation. Okay, um, so we'll continue to watch the data there, along with the Fed's conversation. All right. Today, CPI for Canada at 8:30. That's really as far as movement goes. Tonight, at some point, policy statement for the Bank of Japan, right? We'll take a look at the yen. They're expected to hold rates steady. Um, they was some data that was revised lower, but the one concern is uh food inflation. Um, that's one of the concerns that was cited in my research on the Bank of Japan, as costs are continuing to creep up for households. But the Bank of Japan is being seen to take their time. Um, Now, some folks are saying they might make a move in June or July, but others are still saying third quarter as that next change. So we'll continue to monitor things from the Bank of Japan perspective. And then tomorrow we got that federal funds rate that folks are eyeing, right? So we could see this move the market a little bit if there's anything surprising. If they hold, you could see that yen continue to weaken a little bit. Federal funds rate, we'll see what happens there. That's going to be the big piece to it all. We also got crude oil inventories tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Oh, 10:30. Um, then you have employment change and unemployment rate for the Aussie coming in tomorrow night. And then you got your unemployment change, unemployment rate for the UK. Tomorrow, Thursday morning, you got President Lagarde speaking at 4 a.m. You got the S&B, right? Swiss National Bank, their rate statement at 4:30 on Thursday morning in the press conference. And then on Thursday, you also got a rate statement coming out of the UK, right? So got a lot happening second half of the week here. Okay. Then Governor Bailey speaks on Thursday. You got unemployment claims for the United States on Thursday, Philly Fed manufacturing on Thursday. Governor Macklem out of Canada speaking on Thursday. And then on Friday, you got core retail sales for Canada. All right. So busy, busy, busy week from a rate statement perspective. So we got to keep our eyes peeled and watch the data and see how things move, right? Continue to be patient in our actions, making sure that things are in alignment. All right. Benny, good morning, bro.
Ryan, good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you, Ryan?
I'm doing well, my man. How are you?
Oh man, doing great. Always glad to be here with the team.
Yes, sir. What's top of mind for you today, bro?
Hey man, you covered it all. That was pretty thorough there, brother. The main thing is just that, to see the tone that the Fed is going to take, definitely expecting them to hold rates, but what does that forward guidance look like? And that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it there. You covered everything, but that's the big one for me is that to see what happens and what Powell has to say tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, the tone is going to be interesting. And essentially the Fed's response to the tariff situation. There's probably going to be tons of questions there.
Yep, absolutely, and then the same thing with the Bank of Japan, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
expected to hold rates, but what's that tone going to be? The prediction is going to be a hawkish tone, but it's yet to be seen. We'll see what happens, but definitely some things to get the markets moving.
that's for sure. That's for sure. So, um, that's it. Anything else? My bad.
Oh no, that was
That's
it,
it.
man. Great job
All right.
covering the fundamentals.
I appreciate it, man.
Yep.
Team, you guys got anything? Any questions from a fundamental perspective? Anything you want to bring to the table that you've read, seen before we move on? No, no, no. All right. So let's hop over to the charts. Take a look at this dollar, and it's lingering in this 103 zone. right? Just got to bounce back and forth right now at this level, right? Do we press down and get to this 101 101 level? Yeah, 101 855 and give us that 80/20 on the daily, or do we get that reversal now, right? So likely we'll see some continued bouncing around. Um, Going into that rate statement, we got a stochastic pushing back into that sell zone, right? So maybe we see this 80/20 play out like this, push down into that zone, and then maybe we get that retracement that I've been looking for, which hasn't come yet. So we'll watch and see what happens on this dollar, right? If we get a retracement, depending on Jerome Powell's tone, right? But we could see this 80/20 play out like this here, right? Shallow retracement, didn't get to that 382, pushed down into this 118, 127 zone, into that support level at 101, and then see if we get that reversal there. Previous resistance, right? Could that serve as future support here and give us that retracement? Yet to be seen. So we'll watch and see what happens from a dollar perspective. Down on the 4, right? You see that a little bit more clearly here. It's that range action there. Okay. So do we get a push down or do we get the reversal from here? We're already starting to try to break down here, right? Slow trickles down into that 118 level. So let's watch and see, right? We'll see what the data says. We'll see how the market responds to all the things that are going on. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. But that's the DXY. All right. We talked about oil. Here we are with oil, right? We pushed down deep into that zone through that weekly level, came down, created a daily support double bottom here, and we got the reversal, right? Shallow retracement, not at that 382, pushed down into that 118, 127 zone. We did not get to that D extension, and now we're seeing that reversal out, right? So let's see if we continue to have the fundamental drivers, right, to drive oil higher, right? It's just convenient that as price gets into these zones, right, we get to these levels and things, Iran attacks Gaza Strip conveniently, right, as prices in that zone to give us that reversal. So price moving back to the upside here on oil. Um, yeah, yeah, yes, Joy. Um, come down to the 4, boom, shallow retracement, 118 and 127 zone. You see that double bottom more clearly that we identified last week and the rise. And you see, right, we got the cloud break here. Nice strong break of the cloud. We got the Kumo twist. We got a lagging span above price, potentially about to break the cloud as well, right? And we're looking for that action to give us additional confirmation of this move to the upside, right? So now we sit and wait and allow the pullbacks and continuations to make their way. Okay. So oil on the move to the upside, right? With that additional confirmation. And we come down to the 1, and we're just going to continue to track these waves to the upside, guys. And we'll see if things continue to align on that. So we got a 786 retracement here on this 1 hour 80/20. I mean, not 80/20, is on this 1 hour fib, 786 retracement, and we hit that D extension. So now we'll look for pullbacks and continuations. All right. We'll get a fresh AB boundary here at some point. Actually, it should have been there. No, became just shy. 68.36 came just shy of that D extension on that push. So this is our extension hit here. So we'll wait for a swing high to form in a new AB boundary, and then we'll get a new fib, something like that. And then we play the waves. All right. So oil to the upside, all right? 80-20 moving in the direction that we wanted it to. Okay. Questions on oil? Nope. Nope. All right. Take a quick look at nat gas, and then we'll dive into our currencies. We talked about this one and price coming back into these lower levels. Um, and so still pulling back. I can't grab that. There we go. Still pulling back, right? I was looking for price to come into this range here. We'll see it on the lower time frame also, but looking for price to come into this range. And we're sitting right there. We got stochastic back into that buy zone, right? We're still bullish ahead on the cloud, right? There's that stochastic back into that buy zone as we creep lower into the zone here. So looking for price to settle in, and then we'll see if we get this move back to the upside and that continuation long on that gas tracking next level 539. Okay. Tracking 539. So we'll see how that goes there. Come down to the 4. We'll run these fibs back in from this level. Boom. Right. You see we already got 382 push down here, and we're just coming back into this reversal zone here as we range, looking for that move back to the upside. Okay. So moving as expected, right? Pullbacks and continuation. So we'll continue to watch this one as it makes its way where we want it to. Right here on the 1, we got 786 retracement. There's our range. Not able to break out above that cloud just yet. We're ranging here. You can see the cloud just pressing sideways here. Okay. Stochastic back into that buy zone. So we'll look for at some point price to settle in and then see if we get that move back to the upside there. All right. Benit, what's happening, man? You got a question, Benit? Or was that an accident on the hand raise? Might have been an accident. Cool deal. So that's not gas. Any questions on this one? Nope. Nope. All right. Cool deal. Pound NZD is one I'm still sitting in. But right, overall, we're making this move to the upside, right? This is our capital fib working its way. 50% retracement. We're looking for at some point for price to get to that 232,779 level or zone, right? And so we come into these smaller waves here, come down to the 4. Look at these smaller waves. We had this 80-20 setting up last week, right? And we got that move to the downside here. We're just shy of that 382 right now. But what I'm looking for is pullbacks and continuations lower. Come back and retest this trend line. Okay. We got previous resistance. Um, Previous resistance here that we broke out of, right? We had a consolidation zone here. So I'm looking for price to come back and test that. Right. So looking for another move to the downside at some point, coming down back into this range before we get this continuation to the upside, getting us to our daily D extension. Okay, so price is moving as expected. Beautiful 80-20 here. Shallow retracement didn't get to that 382 level, pushed into this 118, 127 zone, and then you see the retracement happen. All right, you see that deeper move come. Okay. Um, So, like I said, just looking for price to come back into the sweet spot. This is one that I'll look to add a position to if I get price to push down a little bit lower into the zone. Okay. So watching it here, I didn't play the 80-20 here because I'm just looking for low prices to buy this one. So didn't play the 80-20, sitting in my original position, looking for this one to move to the upside here. Okay, so that's on your 4 hour. You come down to your one, and we got your fibs running to the downside, right? Because these coming up got taken out, right? They got taken out to the upside, so we flip that fib and have them running down. Okay, so here on the one, do we get do we get a push down here into this 118, 127 zone on the 1 hour and give us an 80-20 on the one for that reversal? We'll see. Got stochastic on the 1 hour in the sell zone. Okay, so do we get a push down 118, 127 zone, test that trend line, and then give us an 80-20 on the reversal on the 1 hour? We'll watch that and see how that develops. All right, but keep your eyes on that for a potential opportunity on the one if you don't have it, or if you're not in this one. Questions on the pound NZD? All right, no questions there. Cool deal. Let's take a look at dollar yen. Right, daily time frame. We're pushing back into that sell zone there. You see the nice reversal off the B boundary. Got back to that 382 level. See if we continue to track a little bit higher, getting back to that 150 range. Right, it's been a key level in the past. We'll watch and see as we track to the upside, right, how deep into the zone we press. Right, we get pullbacks and continuations to the upside on this dollar yen as we inch closer to that rate statement this evening. Okay, come down to the four. Okay, and you see the reversal out of the zone there. We got a cloud break on the four, bullish ahead, right? Stochastic in the sell zone there, right? So we'll look for pullbacks, but do we get a continuation to the upside, right? Even after that rate statement and press conference. Okay. This is going to be interesting, seeing as we got this beautiful cloud break here um, on the four, right? So it'll be interesting to see, like Benny said, right, what the tone coming out of the Bank of Japan is with that rate statement and how the market takes that. Okay. Um, and if they give any forward guidance, if they give any forward guidance on uh, where they want to be, where they plan to be, and what key areas they're looking at to ensure that they get there as these wage negotiations start to wrap up. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. But looking for a pullback to come here. Okay. It'll come down to the one to look at these fibs to the upside. All right. Beautiful cloud break there on the one. So retracement makes sense. All right. Retracement will make sense. So see if we get a pullback back into the sweet spot here. Okay. See if we get that pull back into the sweet spot and then see what happens. So watching this one, I'm always intrigued with these yens and how the Bank of Japan moves. So um, definitely watching things here and see what happens, but expecting a pullback to come. Okay. Um, questions on the dollar yen? Nope. All right, cool beans. Let's take a look at dollar Swiss. Sitting down in a low spot. All right. Daily time frame, 8-6 retracement. right? We're low in the zone. Where do we go from here? We got rate statement for the Swissy. We got rate statement for the dollar. Okay. Where does where do they take us? Do we continue to see dollar weakness? But then Swiss National Bank, they don't want prices to be too low. So do we see a continued reversal here and a move to the upside, right? You see it's just been range bound, top of the range, bottom of the range, top of the range, bottom of the range, top of the range. Do we continue to press down to come to the bottom of the range, or do we hold in this area, right? We got a daily support here. Do we continue to hold? Okay, so watching that to see what happens as we move through the day tomorrow, right? That rate in for the Swissy is Thursday. Wednesday. Where's that at? Thursday. Thursday. So we got dollar and then Swissy. So I'm interested to see what happens here. Okay. Interested to see what happens here as we're sitting inside that AB boundary. We come down to the 4 here. We took out the A. So we're headed down. Flip this fib to the downside. Boom. Did we get there? 88630. So we just missed the 382 here on the 4 hour. So do we get another push down into the 118, 127 zone on the 4? We'll see. We'll see what happens. Does this level 87,557 hold, or do we get a press down and then a reversal? So watching that there on the 4 hour. All right. How do we develop? How do we move from there? And then on the one, a similar story. So here on the one, we got a nice deep retracement here, and we're coming back down. So looking to see what happens, right? We're range bound. As we get closer to tomorrow, we'll see what action gets taken. Okay. But I'm watching this one off of the higher time frame. More on the daily time frame, but on this 4 as well if we break this 87,557 level. Okay. I'm looking at it from this perspective. Do we stay inside the AB boundary or do we take it out? That's my question. Okay. That's my question. So that's where I am on the dollar Swiss. Questions?
No, sir.
No. All right. Dollar CAD still range bound, right? Still range bound overall. We just take a broader look at this. We got 50% retracement. Not able to break out yet, though. Okay. Not able to break out yet. It's interesting action. We're just playing the range right now. Stochastic lower in the zone, not quite in the buy zone yet. We haven't been able to fully break below this previous level here, right? Not able to close below. Still not able to close below. We got indecision, so we'll see what this is truly going to wait for Chairman Powell. Okay. So nothing doing on this dollar CAD. We're just range bound here. Just range bound. We had a beautiful 80-20 play here, right? Got us back to that 382. And now we're stuck sideways. So we'll continue to monitor this. And if we break this level here, right, then we'll look lower. But not a ton of happening, just range bound on this dollar CAD. Okay. quick peek at some of these yens. Aussie yen moving to the upside as we have been expecting, right? We got a deeper push into the zone, 786 retracement. But you see, right, previous support level, strong break back above it. Stochastic is in that sell zone right now. So look for a pullback, which makes sense looking at that dollar yen. But strong push to the upside. We'll look for a pullback and then a continuation long. Okay. We'll see if we're able to get back to our projection, right? These highs and potentially higher, right? This is the area I'd love to see price get to. I don't know if we actually get there just yet, but or this year, but we'll see. But double bottom, push. Come down to the 4, AB boundary, double bottom. You see the reversal come, right? In that 618 retracement zone here on the 4. So let's watch and see how this moves, right? Do we come back and just retest and continue higher, right? Or do we have a deeper push? Okay. All depending on what's said in this press conference for the Bank of Japan. Okay. So watching this one as on the 4 hour, we're in an interesting space here. We did get a nice strong cloud break here, right? So that generally says we could continue higher for a little bit after the pullback. So we'll watch and see. We'll watch and see. Yeah, they are, Joy, a little bit, a little bit. George said the Aussie yen and the pound yen moving similarly. Yep, yep. So this is what I'm watching for here. Just pullbacks, pullbacks and continuations. That's what I'm looking for. Okay. So we'll see. This will take us into right into the evening, and we'll see if price settles in around the cloud, and then we get a push back to the upside, depending on how the market takes what the Bank of Japan has to say. Okay. Questions on the Aussie yen? No. Okay. One second, everybody. All right, so that's there. Let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. Continuing to linger in this area, right? Came back to that deep retracement zone, not able to break down. We're coming back to that range, right? 64.062. Okay. Let's see how price moves here. See how price moves here as we continue to get dollar weakness, right? If the dollar continues to fall, we'll see a break of that level and might take the A out on this daily time frame. Okay. So we'll watch and see where price goes. We come down to the 4. And you see, right, we're just stuck. Just stuck. Still inside that AB boundary, but we're just stuck. Okay. On the 1, we're headed to the D extension, 618 retracement. Nice ABCD waves here, right? But do we get a pullback and then that continuation to get to that $64 level? Okay. So that one's on its way. We could see more dollar weakness and pushing that up to that zone. Okay. So not much there. Prices on the move on the Aussie dollar. CAD yen. I'll take a look at that CAD Swiss too. But pushing off that B boundary zone, right? Stochastic in the sell zone there. Strong push. We'll see if we get a pullback and then a continuation. We'll see. Right? Previous resistance, previous support serving as resistance right now. So we'll see if we're able to break above that or not. Right? will be more yen action than Canadian dollar action. So we'll see. We'll see. Down on the 4, right? Shallow retracement. 118, 127 zone, reversal. You've seen on those other yens, right? There's strong cloud breaks on the 4. Okay. So again, I'm looking for a pullback, retest that cloud, and a continuation. If the Bank of Japan, right, says that they're going to take their time. They do plan to raise them, so it could be a hawkish pause, right? We do plan to raise interest rates, but we're not in a rush to raise interest rates, right? Um, Something like that, or if they give guidance on the third quarter or any of those small nuggets, right? It's signaling them waiting, them being patient. We could see market reverse out of this and move back to the upside. Okay, so that's there on the 4. Down on your 1, just like the rest of them, right? AB boundary, setting up for a pullback. All right, so we'll look for a pullback, and then we'll see if we get that continuation to the upside. Questions on the CAD yen? All right, the basket is moving similarly. Okay, Deb, you seeing this 80-20 in action here? And they had questions and they're having conversations about that. Okay, awesome. Swiss yen moving to the upside. Moving to the upside, right? Broke out of the consolidation, strong break, stochastic in the sell zone. So look for a pullback, retest that area, and see if we get a continuation. Now we got Bank of Japan tonight, Swissy on Thursday, right? Could things come out of the Swiss National Bank give us a catalyst to move more to the upside? We'll see. All right, this one is always interesting. We are in a risk-off environment right now, and as of now, that Swissy is taking advantage of that, right? Or a beneficiary of said risk-off environment. But pullback and continuation is what I'm looking for here. Okay. Another strong break, right? Hovering on that cloud, going back and forth. And then we got the strong break. Okay. Moving deeper in the zone here on the capital fib, right? But moving to the upside as we've been looking forward to. Okay. So now on the 1, boom. Setting up for a retracement, right? Shallow retracement, 118, 127 zone. Pullback. Right. So let's see if that lines up for us, right? If you're looking to play these 80-20s, right? Here's one that could be a beautiful setup and align with the fundamentals, right? Boom. Catalyst being yen rate statement and press conference to give this retracement. And then we get to a low price. Then we'll see if Swiss National Bank, right, gives us a flip on the fundamentals or things shift in the market sentiment, right? And we move back to the upside. It's an interesting game. But there's your 80-20 on the 1 on the Swiss yen. Questions here? No? No question? All right. Cool beans. So that's your Swiss yen. Um, come back to that Euro Aussie, right? Euro yen, same as expected, right? Been talking about it. Rumbling to the upside as expected, right? That yen strength. Um, all right, for sure. Have a great day, Joy. Euro strength, right? Pushing this thing to the upside. Boom. We hit that D extension on the. No, actually, we took that A out. So let's flip this. There we go. There we go. Headed to the upside here. We got a 382 on the AB boundary. Now we're just looking to continue moving up, but pull back to come first. Test previous resistance. All right. Previous resistance, can that hold as future support in that retracement? Boom. Right. So again, looking for a pullback and then potentially continuation. Okay. We'll come down to the one, making its way to the D extension. 618 retracement, ABCD waves. Right. So look for price to get to that 164 level here on this Euro yen. So we're moving there, right? Just looking for the pullbacks and continuations along the way. Euro dollar, sitting at high prices. So let's come back here. So this is interesting, right? We got a just shy of a 50% retracement here. Strong breakout to the downside. Do we come back and retest this area? Right? Do we come back and retest this area here? Strong move. All right. Pull back. And then do we continue up? So watching this one just to see how things go here. Looking to see how things go here. Okay. But looking for price to continue moving to the upside. Come back to the daily, right? Do we get an 80-20 here? Then a retracement and a continuation. Right? Stochastic lingering in that sell zone. So we'll see how price moves here. But do we get weakness in the dollar first and then that pullback to come? We'll see. We'll see. But that's the zone I'm watching for at least a short-term reversal to come out of. So watching that there. Come down to your 4. All right, we're pressing into that 118 level right now. Shallow retracement, pushing into this 118, 127 zone. So do we continue to creep up here and then see that retracement come? Okay. So watching things there. Watching things there on the 4. Just missed the D extension on this one. I think we'll push up and we'll hit that and we'll get a reset. So I think we'll continue pushing higher at least to get to that D extension, test that range. So this one, right, just allow that to go and we'll track this off the 4 and see if this 80-20 plays out here or reversal. Okay, so we'll watch and see what the fundamentals have to say. Questions on the euro dollar? No? Okay, cool deal. All right. That's the euro dollar. Take a look at this pound yen, and we'll wrap things up here. Moving along. Surprise, surprise. All right, moving along. Coming to an area of resistance, right? We'll look for a pullback, and then we'll see what happens. We know we got some strength out of the UK. We got a rate statement later on as well, later on in the week for the pound. We'll see how that goes. They're expected to hold rates, which will give them continued strength. So we could see this continue to rise after a pullback. Come down to that 486 retracement, de-extension achieved. Strong move, right? Strong cloud break, pullback, retest, continuation. De-extension achieved. So we'll look for a reset now. Fresh AB boundary. Boom. Look for a pullback, come back, test the cloud, and see if we get a continuation to the upside. Okay. But moving in the direction we want it, right? We zoom out and look at our capital fib, 618 retracement. Are we able to make it back here to this 203 level? We'll see. We'll see. Nice move to the upside so far. Down on you one, 80-20. Setting up for a retracement, and we'll see if we get a low price to continue to the upside. Questions on the pound yen?
Nope.
Questions on anything that we covered this morning? What's your question, Deb?
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Thank you for the complete analysis and for the for me learning these skills. Looking at all the charts that you've gone through, when would someone like myself would look to enter these trades? Would I be looking to enter in the next 24 hours or what time frame? Don't know if my question is making sense.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're going there. So there isn't a specific time, right? So as you continue to go through the training, you'll see that it's about developing a set of rules, right? Developing a set of rules. And once those rules are met, those rules should, well, back up. The rules should be a set of if then yes and no questions, right? It'll keep it black and white. Did price do this? If price does this, then I do this, right? So once you develop your set of rules, as you go through the training, you'll see we talk about trend line breaks, we talk about the Ichimoku cloud, right? So once you set up your set of rules, then when your rules are met is when you enter the trade. Okay.
Okay.
So those rules can be do I get a trend line break? Right. So you run your trend lines to the upside, like so. And you'll also in this determine what time frame as you're going through and as you're learning yourself, you'll determine what time frame you prefer to trade on, right? Be it a 1 hour, 4 hour, daily. But the principles remain the same regardless of the time frame, right? Are your rules met, yes or no? So you run your trend lines to the upside if you're looking at trend line breaks, right? And then you sit and wait. Do I get a bearish close of the trend line? Okay. If you get a bearish close on the trend line on the 1 hour, that's your entry rule, right? So once that occurs, then you enter the trade, right? If
Okay.
price doesn't give you those, doesn't meet that criteria, then you don't take the trade, right? Being very black and white with if then statements and yes or no questions allows you to remove the emotion from the trading and sheerly look at the market movement and as you learn the fundamentals, what the fundamentals are telling you as well. Okay. So you'll determine what time frame you want to trade on. And as you're implementing what you're learning, just test out different time frames, right? As you implement those, just so you can get used to seeing all of them. But test out um implement and test implement and test on each time frame.
Yes, I understand.
Okay. Um, as you go, okay, and develop your question. But if then questions, okay. If you're using the Ichimoku cloud, we'll come back and we'll look at this Aussie yen, for instance, right? Um, right. If you're waiting for a cloud break, as you learn, as you dig deeper into the training, we talk about this Ichimoku cloud and what it means and how it moves and how to use it. But, right, do you get a cloud break with the confirmations on the Ichimoku cloud, right? So cloud break, that would be your entry and price moves, right? So you develop the set of rules um, as you move along. Okay. But that would
Okay.
be that's when you would enter, not necessarily a specific time frame of the day or a specific hour, but when your rules are met, that's when you would look to enter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Great question. All right, good people. We will be back at it tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. You guys have a phenomenal, phenomenal day. Peace.
Thank you.
You're welcome.